You ready?
Yeah.
Huge shout out to my boy Harrison in Houston, Texas for sharing that Brazzers login. It's been much appreciated. During these dark times, it's really brightened my day. So
Couldn't cough up the $3.99 a month for whatever the
it's
hell
expensive. It's like $30 a month.
Is it?
Yeah, I ain't got money like that.
That's hilarious.
I ain't paid like that. Come on now.
Dude, but what do you get out of that?
You get all the
Isn't porn endless on the internet? What the fuck do you need?
it's 4K, man.
4K. Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
I'm a video guy. Come on.
You just as a
I personally, I want to be honest. Personally, kind of like the raw vibe.
Like, what do you mean, like the bad quality?
Yeah, I just feel like I don't know.
I like both ends of the spectrum. Anything between is
Because
just a
I've
waste
like
of time.
you know hooked up some porn stars or like even just I don't even know if yeah a few, and then just talking with a few of them too. They're just like saying how it's like it's actually not that much of a vibe because like there's so much stopping and going and
Oh, the filming of it,
Blue
yeah.
could probably speak to this the most.
yeah, there's a lot of stopping and going. But
What's your weighing on this? We can keep her off the record.
I was about to weigh in. Yeah, porn's porn. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I was about to say, no, it's popping right now in these tough times that we're in.
What?
The OnlyFans. Every
no,
girls that would never do it are doing it right now.
It's dark times.
But like they don't. Some of them don't even. It's just like them in like lingerie just chilling.
Yeah, I mean it's a happy medium. They're not doing porn.
Some of them making a lot of money off this.
But only fans, like people are the audience of porn is gearing more towards the amateur stuff anyways. Because I think people are just liking the more authentic.
Yeah, it's like
it's
kind of
real.
the notion I was just talking about, the raw vibe.
Yeah.
Like, it's a classic oversaturation thing because there's so much accessible porn. So then what's the next level? Ooh, I know this girl. Like, she's a real girl. Like, sometimes she like, if I write to her in the chat, she'll respond to me. And like, you know, for guy, I don't know. I guess guys fucking rock
like
with
a
that shit
fantasy.
heavy. Yeah, exactly. And then like, you know, instead of whacking it to a complete stranger, you feel like you can create a little bond.
Yeah.
It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, they're just like, it's Alexa. I know Alexa.
There's some creep stuff.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's the difference. Would you rather whack it to like some hot chick you know nothing about, never seen before in your life, or would you rather whack it to a picture of a chick that you've actually had a conversation with? You know what I mean?
I think it's better to know who they are.
Yeah, exactly.
A little, or at least some kind of, not even knowing. You could just follow her on Instagram or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
but I'm coming from I'm not a huge, I'm not in that game really, but I get it. The notion of it, I agree with. Like,
I gotta give it up for the high production quality, though.
Yeah, that doesn't get my rocks off at
Gotta
all.
give it up. Gotta give it up for
You
that.
do the virtual reality shit.
Oh yeah, the VR stuff is a whole different thing. I haven't even fully. I haven't
You gotta immerse yourself in that.
I haven't
and
fully
report
immersed
back.
yet. I haven't. I mean, if I can't even afford the $29.99 a month for the Brazzers, I'm not going to spend $800 so I can watch 4K virtual reality porn. I know it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, man.
For porn, like
Money or not, that's not what does it for me.
if I had $1 billion, I wouldn't pay $30 for porn.
Me either. Me either, bro. I really wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways,
I'm drinking my first God's water in a long time here. A little beer on ice.
a little beer and ice. Yeah,
It's fucking refreshing.
Still trying to
man.
make it a thing.
Not even. It is a thing for me personally, but when you drink a ton of beer, I'm not drinking a lot of beer right now. I mean, I was few weeks ago for the Bellina.
This is my first beer since the Bellina Cup, I think.
Yeah, me too. I'm not like, you know.
I never had a God's water.
Yeah, it's so good.
This isn't beer.
I'm easily drinking more.
That's so good.
I'm drinking more now that I can't go out anymore. I'm drinking more now than I used to. Do you
I think most of the world is in the same shoes.
Yeah,
You're super
You're
casual,
not.
though.
You're not a casual drink, Mike. You're not a casual drinker.
Never been, man.
I'm at the point where like I can just easily put down a bottle of wine before I go to bed.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a weed does it for me. So you know, I don't really go a day without smoking. So,
True.
It's not like I'm like this sober guy, you know. I get baked and just catch a wave and go make music, and I could really do any of the sort. I could do the typical high shit where you want to watch something cool, but literally every day around like this time, around as the afternoon comes to an end, that's when I start smoking. And I usually just head to the studio, you know. But for me, drinking has never been that. If I drink, I'm drinking. I'm really drinking. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm gonna have at least 10 drinks.
I mean, I'm at that level too, but not to that extent.
Yeah.
Like I drink to get drunk, obviously.
Yeah.
But
me and Blue were just talking about on the walk. I'm not a huge like. I think it might be a tolerance thing, but I'm not. Man, I don't get really like any vibe off a few drinks. I don't.
Well, no, I mean a bottle of wine is more than a few drinks. Like most people get pretty loaded on a bottle of wine.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't drink wine, so maybe that's different.
The wine drunk is its own thing.
It's great.
Blue, you agree, right?
I love it.
It's different than any other drunk, right?
Yeah, it's like happy and chill and like laid back.
Yeah.
You can watch a movie and you
I
don't
get
feel
it.
like an asshole.
It's a very euphoric drunk for me.
I get it.
Yeah, I like it.
I feel like if you were drinking like vodka every night to wind down, that's a little aggressive.
That's a little
If you
much.
have a
No one
glass
drinks
of wine-
vodka to wind down.
You never know. I mean, that's an alcohol. But wine is like you don't feel. You're like,
Yeah.
All right.
Just gonna wax off this bottle of Tito's while I watch fucking Love Is
Han,
Blind.
I've had a long day. Can you fix me a Red Bull and vodka, please?
I mean, Love is Blind almost calls for a glass of fucking vodka straight up.
For real.
That show's insane.
Love is blind. Someone just Alex Bush, who works on our podcast, he recommended another show. He said it's even more ridiculous than Love is Blind. It's called Too Hot to Handle.
I saw that on Netflix.
I haven't watched it yet.
I think I can only do one of those every
I think
calendar year.
the show might actually be too hot to handle for me.
Yeah.
But the main thing that's on now, everyone's talking about the most watched thing ever on ESPN, most watched documentary on ESPN, The Last Dance. One would compare it to the Funnel Mike Stud Tour,
Yeah.
but even though that was not our last dance,
Could have been.
it could have been, but
gotta treat it like
it
it
wasn't.
Can't believe we came out of there. No one came out of dad on that tour. Seriously in rehab. Remember we used to joke about Blue going to rehab, but it was just like part of the off season?
Yeah.
It's not funny. It's not funny.
Not funny.
Yeah, like we really fuck man. We've been lucky. We've been very lucky and blessed to be able to navigate these very dark, murky waters that we swim in. But
And the big bummer is that we were probably geared up for another tour and we're not going to be able to do it until next year, right?
yeah. It's
That's-
okay though. It's okay.
Not that we're in a rush, but I mean, it's a bummer.
Yeah.
To be off the road for over 2 years. Is a
like
bummer.
people are chirping us about like put the fucking songs out. Like one, there's just this quarantine things like kind of put everyone in like what are we, like how is business supposed to proceed? We're just in a very tricky situation. Well, not even tricky, it's just layers because the name change like is actually happening right now officially.
Yep.
And like when you talk about Spotify and Apple and those things, like we have our whole Mike Stud catalog. Like, where does that live? We have all, we built up a big listenership on these platforms, right? But then changing the mic and like, like there's just layers to it. And then also like for the first time, we just upload from the house and go on with our day normally. But like now, we're going to do it properly and like where you can get songs on like bigger playlists and these types of things. So it's a process. We're starting. But also to your point, like, because of quarantine, it sounds like real touring won't start up until
next year.
Yeah, like literally 2021. So we're going to keep that in our mind now going forward with the releases. But as Mike starts, like as soon as this comes out, then we'll start dropping songs fairly close. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to wait another 4 months. We're going to get going, but we're going to arc it to where, hey, we can do this tour here.
And I feel like people are consuming everything differently now because everyone's on different schedules. Especially with, podcasts is one thing we were talking about. It was probably part of a lot of people's routine, going to work, during their commutes, during their exercises at the gym. Now it's all different, and I wonder if music's kind of the same.
Yeah, I'm sure. I haven't checked any. I'm just going off an educated guess, but I would imagine consumption's definitely on the rise.
Yeah.
So it's a great time to drop music for sure.
It's almost the best time possible for this whole thing, this whole transition.
It really is.
Because we would probably I feel like a lot of our tours got rushed and shit. Like
Always.
we dropped the
I was
album,
just
we go
gonna
on
say
tour
that.
right away. So this time it's like couldn't be any.
You're spot on.
It's gonna be
I think
very thought out.
in your own little universe, this leans into what I tweeted this and posted it on my Instagram story. That's how you know I really wanted to get the message across. If I screenshot a tweet and I put it on my Instagram
Oh
story.
yeah. That's how you know you mean business.
But yeah, just like for whatever, everyone has their own like universe and their space, and if you could try to just find a way to make this make sense to your universe, you know, like try to look for the reasons why it would be a good thing. Go look into your life and your path, and you know, for other people, I'm sure it's a lot harder. You know what I mean? Like I'm coming from a privileged place again when I say something like that. But if you can just get yourself to like do that, that's pretty cool. You know, and like I've already found a lot of bright sides of this quarantine. And yeah, I get that there's a lot of people really suffering because of it. Not all terrible, and I would never trade. You know what I mean? I'm just saying I'm finding the bright side in it, and I think if everyone can try to, you know, like if you look for it, think about it. If you go out looking for something, like if you're looking, like what's the way we articulated this? When you're looking, if you're looking for something, you're gonna end up finding that because your attention is to that. That's what you're going at. If you're going out in your day and just blanket enjoying it, right? Whatever, doing whatever. If you have a pointed focus and you're clearly looking for something, I wish I could articulate this better, but if you're clearly looking for something, it's gonna come. You're gonna see it. If you're looking for cigarettes, you're gonna start seeing cigarettes around, people smoking cigarettes. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things. It's not even like a universe thing. It's just kind of like truth, you know? A universal truth almost. But like, if you're looking for the bright side in things, that's what you're much better chance of seeing the bright side, you know? Much better chance of maybe finding a bright side that you didn't really know existed. But if you're looking for like, you know, the opposite, like, oh, look, this is terrible, and then going looking on Twitter and like retweeting people saying how bad it is and retweeting.
Yeah, I like it's bugged me that people keep messaging or tweeting that like 2020 is like a wash. Like, oh, like 2020 sucks. 2020 is a wash. And
Yeah.
I recently posted like, if you're not seeing this year as an opportunity, then you're fucking up.
Dude, this is the tweet. This is the tweet. 2020 been in shambles from our perspective. Maybe the world, universe, planet needed this way more than we needed our lifestyle to continue. Without a healthy atmosphere to live in, we'll be in quarantine forever or much worse.
Yes, from an Earth standpoint, yes, it's very beneficial.
No, but I'm tying it into the concept though.
Yeah,
like
I'm talking about like personally, like within oneself. Like people are just being like, "Oh, this year's like a wash.
Totally.
This year's ruined." And then I remember I wrote something about this year being more of an opportunity than a wash. And then someone commented back and they were like, "Yeah, like maybe from a business standpoint." And I was like, "No, not just business. Actually, from even more so on a personal growth standpoint." Because you talked about this where, you know, you might not have had time to focus on your own personal growth because you were working so much. You're tied up in your daily routine and your habits. Now your daily routine's gone. It's a blank slate. You can like think of all the things you can do for your own personal growth, like finding different passions, reading books, learning, exercising every day, like going on walks.
Dude,
you couldn't do that before.
you can make the argument. I think if we asked everyone here and said, hey, do you think the majority of people in the world, if they could, would want to try some new things and maybe, you know, go down, see if they can explore some different paths? What do you think? The majority of people would take that chance?
Yes.
Now's the time, man.
Yeah.
Everybody, like the majority of people, right before this quarantine happened, were complaining, or at least I'm not even saying they were complaining, just internally, like, you know, hey man, I wish I could kind of be at least down a different path. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people that aren't in love with their path and like where they are.
Yep.
So if you were to say, hey man, I'm going to give you the next 6 months. What if you didn't know it was a quarantine and there wasn't sickness involved, right? Because there's obviously a lot of terrible shit coming from it as well.
Yep.
But if you said, hey, I'm going to give you the next 6 months off of work, you're going to have a chance to do whatever you want. You know, yes, there's a caveat. You won't really be able to go outside and like see a bunch of people for a while. I think a lot of people would take it. Think a lot of people would take it.
Yep.
But instead, in the same exact experience, look at that side of it, looking at the bright side of the situation. You probably would have. A lot of people aren't in love with their exact situation. So you probably would have said, fuck, I'll take 6 months off work. You know, I don't know. Yeah, granted, there's other layers to that, and people could say, yeah, what about the money? Like, I need the money, and they're not getting their pay from their job.
Right.
But just fuck all the negative sides of it and just focus on what you can focus on. And maybe that, you know, if you believe there's going to be a positive that comes out of it, you will.
There's just
I really am passionate about
I
that.
feel like there's just so many negative people.
Yeah.
Because like,
Fuck.
think about like what you were saying earlier when you were saying like people, what you look for. Right. I feel like you can compare it to like when you get in your car and you drive. If you're like, oh my God, the horseshit driver everywhere, you're going to see everyone fucking driving like horseshit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
No, those are the ones you're going to look
and then you're going to see way more of it. You're going to see like traffic, everyone's pissed off. Or if you look at the bright side, like it's so nice out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or the song on the radio. I don't know.
I totally agree.
A post that inspired me, it talks about all of the startups that started during the last recession of 2008 to 2010, which is the last economic recession. It was Uber, Airbnb, Pinterest, WhatsApp, Square, and Venmo were all invented and started up during
Can you repeat that?
Uber, Airbnb, Pinterest.
Are you kidding?
WhatsApp, Square, and Venmo. It says some of the most iconic companies of the next decade will undoubtedly be launched during this crisis.
Dude,
that's wow.
So think of like the way I think about it
cool.
is like people saw that recession as an opportunity to adjust and to create and to invent.
And look, not everybody across society. There are definitely people coming from privileged spaces where the guys who started that at least had some money to play with. Their creativity was not bogged down by the stresses of like, how am I going to get food next week?
Yeah.
This isn't an even playing field.
Think how hard it is to start a company in an economic recession.
It's so hard.
It's hard.
But look, that's why society is beautiful the way it is, because it's an ecosystem. Like, just like you need the rain to like for the air to be, you know what I mean? Like you need all the players in the ecosystem to do their job. So the people from a privileged place need to approach this as an opportunity. And yes, it's easier for them to approach it as an opportunity. But I'm saying to the common anybody, blanketly, if you do just try to search for the opportunity versus giving attention to how whack it is, because there are terrible elements, then, you know what I mean? That's where like a shift can happen. There's a lot more, you're giving yourself a lot better chance at least mentally being okay, or maybe being better coming out of this quarantine.
Yep.
Where I think a lot of people are going to come out and be like, I just haven't been in a funk. Fast forward till after the quarantine, there will be people like saying, I haven't been able to get back in the flow. You know what I mean? Like the quarantine will then be a reason why, they can't get going again. And there are, again, a lot of people crushed by it, really. So there will be a lot of that. But I'm just saying, look at that bright side if you can,
I think everybody, I don't care how busy you are or what, you have like 15 minutes before you go to bed to try to listen to and be positive, meditate, like learn something, read one fucking chapter, do something before you go to bed.
You have more than 15 minutes now. Now you have a whole fucking day.
I say
I know.
Yeah, dude, you're spot on. What he's saying is like, there's actually, so a lot of these teachers that me and Blue both fuck with, these teachers talk about it. But I saw a sleep doctor, right? A doctor who literally studies sleep, and then a few other like spiritual leaders, and then there was like this round table about this topic especially. And data, like doctors, Dr. Joe Dispenza was one of them. Data proves that if you that the 15 minutes before you go to bed and the 15 minutes when you wake up are the most pivotal points of the day. Yep. And there's an exact reasoning. There's different states of the brain. I mean, I'm an amateur, so I might even fuck up but the notion I know. There's different, theta, beta, whatever. There's states that your brain, like when you're shutting down to go to sleep, and then when you're awakening it's very impressionable. There's just tons of benefits to those times being focused on what you want. And it will dictate your entire night's sleep, which subconsciously is very important. That's why I listen to that shit throughout the night. And it really, dude, like there's just endless data proving it. People still can't do it. Sometimes I can't do it, and I know it works. But if you focus on the things you want to happen tomorrow, if you right before you go to bed, if you focus on these two things, what you want to first, what was great about today? A few things you're thankful about today. Could be I felt good today. I had a great meal. I saw my friends. Whatever. Highlight the things you're grateful for. Think about tomorrow and what you want to do with the opportunity and like what you hope or what might happen. Not even hope. Say, oh, tomorrow I'm going to do this. I'm going to have the best day. Blah, blah, blah. It takes 10 minutes, 15, not even 5 minutes, really. But scientifically, they're saying like dedicate 15 minutes to it because there's a certain amount of time that whatever, you know. But
even on a level of reaching success, it was in Think and Grow Rich about writing down like your goals and your affirmations for every time you wake up. Every time you wake up in the morning, is to like write down what you want to accomplish, and then just read that when you wake up in the morning, or read it before you go to bed at night, and then you pretty much drill it into your subconscious until you believe it. And then it helps you make it come true.
Subconscious programming, boy.
You wake up in a better mood. Whenever I do that shit before I go to bed, I wake up and I'm like,
yep,
just refreshed.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
because it's actually true. You know, it's actually scientifically proven.
I want to segue into The Last Dance because it's a pretty fucking great documentary. Has that documentary changed your perception on Michael Jordan after watching the first couple episodes?
Yeah, some ways. Definitely. Look, I know his sons. One of his sons has a YNK tattoo. He got it with us, like in Toronto.
Which one, Marcus?
Jeff.
Jeff?
Yeah. And then Marcus took care of us. Remember we went to the store in Florida?
Yep.
Like, we fuck with the Jordans heavy. They're cool kids. Very nice dudes. Really. Sweet guys. I mean, look, I had heard negative things about Jordan and how he was just kind of like, I'm sure he's had moments where he's not a great person or did the wrong thing or whatever, but like I just kind of just from watching it, I felt like I liked him more. Especially just showing how like he was like such a young impressionable kid when he showed up, and he was like got a little apartment while like his teammates were like doing coke and fucking bitches.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
And which sound like a basic night over here at the Stevenson Ranch. But Jordan, but when I saw him and like just it kind of opened my eyes to like being so young and rising so fast like that, and
Yeah, one thing that it made me realize, the whole Scottie Pippen story was the one thing that I didn't really know about until watching it, and it kind of broadened the picture on why the Bulls during that era won so many championships. And it really, I mean, obviously it was because Michael Jordan was, one of the greatest players ever, but a part of it, and probably a huge part of it, was because Scottie Pippen signed this horseshit deal. He was making about $2 million a year for 7 years straight. No one thought he was going to be as good he was going to be. He started college at 6'1", and he ended it at what, 6'8"?
That wasn't college.
Or whatever.
High school sophomore year.
He had a really late growth spurt.
Yeah, he did.
Where he grew like 7 inches, way later than most people. And he signed this deal. It brought the Bulls. I mean, the Bulls were at like, think of what their salary cap would be if he was getting paid what he should have been getting paid.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have been able to afford a lot of the other players that were starting for that team.
Yep.
If you think about it that way. They made a list of like what the starters were getting paid when the Bulls were the best like during those years in the 90s. Jordan was making like $33 million, which is insane. And Scottie Pippen, second best player maybe in the league, making $2 million a year.
Yep.
So if he was getting paid what he should have been getting paid, which was what do you think, like 15 million, 20 million, whatever, they probably wouldn't have been able to afford a lot.
Now look, an interesting point is if you told Scotty then, he'd be like, fuck it, I'm out. This is bullshit. If you can get out of this, he'd be like, I'm out of here. Fuck these guys, I'm gonna go get paid, right? You ask him now, number one, he made $110 million in his playing career. Made more than Jordan in his playing career.
Yeah.
If you asked him now, imagine second year you got out of that and you didn't win those 6 fucking championships and you weren't on those Bulls teams and you guys didn't have that fucking run.
Yeah.
Do you think he would ever fucking trade it?
No.
So what I'm saying is even that's a negative thing he was going through. He was very distressed during that time. He said it. He was arguing berating the owner, being an asshole, being out of character.
Yep.
He's pissed off. But now those were the best years of his life.
I know.
And it built his whole brand. And then he made all the money after that, you know?
I think
Like-
that's what allowed the Bulls to win so many championships. What was it, 6?
Of course.
5 or 6 championships?
Sometimes those little sacrifices, like I said it to someone earlier, but just the long game. Play the long game.
Yeah.
Like,
but
yes,
at the time, he didn't know it was a sacrifice.
Right,
He just
right.
took it because he thought he wanted the security for his
Totally.
family because he grew up in poverty.
it's just an interesting, if I had that conversation with Scotty, I'd love to hear his perspective on it.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, bro, like you were severely underpaid, but look how amazing it was.
Yep.
That situation. Not to say that sometimes you can't get fucked over and get fucked out of good situations, but like, you know, it's just there's plenty of examples of that. You know, I don't know. It just makes me think of that. Like,
Also, like, I got a little point here. Also, like, if fucking Pippen, bro. I mean, if no many, I could probably hit a 3 out there. No many people are focused on Jordan. If he was the number 1 on another team, I'm not saying he's not like. It made it easier for
You're right,
him
though.
to be good because everyone's focused on Jordan.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
The same thing happened.
You know what I mean?
We'll-
Like,
we'll get to
you're
Gronk. We'll get to
absolutely
Gronk soon too. But the same thing happened with Gronk when he was on the Patriots. He would get double teamed every game, and it allowed other people like
To be like super,
Amendola or
yeah,
whatever when
exactly.
he was on the team to get those catches because everyone's just double teaming, Gronkowski.
Absolutely.
So
Danny,
you're right. Yeah,
I
he
think
was,
Danny could have made catches if he was double teamed too.
It's like another example of an ecosystem, man. You need those.
He needed that.
all those gravitational forces of people. Everyone's energy on Jordan. Scotty's going dumb.
yeah.
You know what
But
I mean? Like,
it raises the question where if Scottie Pippen got the deal that he should have gotten, would the Bulls have won as many championships?
you could flip it on Mike too, though.
I don't know.
As soon as Scotty left, they started struggling.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying like say you had Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and then like 3 shit bums as the starters that that they just to fit their salary cap because
Right.
would they have won as many championships? I don't know if they would
No,
have.
probably not.
Probably not.
There's no way of knowing. But there's also all like Scotty, the yin and yang of as soon as Scotty was out, at least where we just left off, like they were struggling, and Jordan was visibly still pissed about it at his current age.
Yeah.
He's like, Scotty was in the wrong. Like, even after all, you made $1 billion fucking dollars, you're talking about Scotty being in the wrong. Like, you know what I mean? But it's just like, it was very clear that think of this, the value that these people bring in their roles is what make teams like that, dynasties like that great. Patriots, Bulls needed all that whole ecosystem of people and situations. You know?
I want to know how Scotty did when Jordan was out for those 3 years. Because he was out.
Yeah, me too.
Jordan won 3. He left, played baseball,
Dakota,
came back,
you should be like
and won 3 in a row.
like a Jamie to like Joe Rogan, where like
I was just
you
about
could
to ask you.
Yeah. Look up what Scottie Pippen's. Just find out when Scottie Pippen, when he got traded from the Bulls, like what he did in those years, statistically.
Because he played without Jordan when Jordan played baseball for 3 years.
On the Bulls,
He had it, right? Or am I don't
think
know.
he was on the Bulls anymore.
No, he got traded to another
Oh,
team.
he was
He was on with
traded.
the Rockets.
I
and
don't
then
know
he
what
was
I'm
on-
talking about.
Yeah, he was on 2 other teams after the Bulls.
But you don't ever think about it, you don't ever even see him in another jersey. I've never seen him.
I didn't even know. I didn't even know he was
everyone
on
knows
another team.
Scottie
What was
Pippen,
he
the
on,
Bull.
Portland?
I think he was on Portland and he was in Houston. I think he played for
Portland,
both.
yeah.
I think he
I
played for
remember
both
Portland.
teams.
Vaguely, a little.
I think that was towards the end of his career, though.
This whole thing kind of ties into the, and I'm gonna name drop it again, but that book Outliers that I read recently, Malcolm Gladwell. Chris Archer swears by Malcolm Gladwell. Remember he was on the show and he said he met him at like a Starbucks or something and he was afraid to talk to him.
Yeah.
I'm already on his second book, but I read Outliers first because it's one of it, and it's about circumstantial success. So it's not just about people who are successful because of their God-given talent and their intelligence or whatever. It's because of the circumstances that surround the people. And they reference the Beatles, they reference Bill Gates, but I think it kind of makes sense with these the Bulls during this era because like we were just talking about, if Scottie Pippen didn't receive that little money, they wouldn't have been able to have the other players for the amount of money that they're paying them. Maybe they wouldn't. So the Bulls during the era were outliers based on that circumstance.
Yeah.
So
That's a fair point for sure.
yeah.
Scotty's got his wife's super hot, so I think he made out really well.
She's been banging Future 2 different times.
Does he have a new one? Does he have a new one?
I don't think it ended that great.
He probably has another one. There had to be a reason.
I saw Larsa Pippen tweeted, for everyone concerned, Scotty did just fine, and like tweeted like
I saw that.
one of his
That's what
things,
I'm
and then
talking
like you go to the replies and be like, it's like a Future meme. He's like, fuck it, you know, like everyone was trolling her about Future.
Yeah.
Future fucks everybody.
Scotty's probably doing his thing on the side the whole time. It's karma, man. She came back around.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. I'm looking at these stats. Anyone know the year? When did Jordan? So he goes to Houston in 98, 99 season.
Jordan won those years.
Where are the points? Where are the points in this shit? I hate when they put the points so fucking far away.
It's the main
all the way
stat.
at the bottom.
Literally the main
He
stat.
probably still crushed it.
No, what'd I say? 98, 99? Bro. 14 points in 40 minutes.
That was he was probably towards the end.
What is that? Just one game?
No, that's the season stat.
That's
Like
his
average.
first. That's his first year in fucking Houston. 98, 99.
Jordan, what was Jordan's stats in that year?
He
Probably,
might have been playing baseball.
No, 99. That like when you play like old NBA games, 99 Jordan was like one of the best.
I don't know. I'm already too high to be looking at this. I'm confused. But either way, look, he averaged 14 and a half, 12 and a half, 11, 10, 10, 5, retired.
Yeah, there you go. They needed each other.
They needed each other, baby. Yin and yang.
Yin and yang, baby.
Just like me and Blue Yup need each other.
Before, yeah, no, the
I'm more like
Jordan
a
and
Rodman guy. I think
Jordan and Pippen of the
someone
Bellini Cup.
commented on one day. What?
Actually, people compared you to the Kobe and Shaq of the Bellini
That's the
Cup,
funniest thing ever.
So funny.
which was
Rest in
hilarious.
peace. Yeah,
It really was more like, yeah, it's like Pip. Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of a
Also,
fair.
another outlier.
I think it was
is
like Curry and Durant, maybe.
another Jordan is an outlier.
Yeah, I like
Also,
that.
what if Jordan was a fucking party guy? He goes into the team when they're called the traveling cocaine circus. He walks.
Gotta make those shirts.
He walks into. We're the traveling Bud Light circus. If he walks into the hotel room that one day and everyone's like doing lines, smoking weed, boozing, what if he like partook in it? He's like, yeah, I'll rage.
I mean,
Would he? What if he
might
went
have.
down that rabbit hole? Would he still be
wouldn't.
Jordan?
No.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably
later
not.
on in his career, he probably
Look, that
dabbled in it.
happens. Like, the public doesn't even know, but like that happens to a lot of these guys. A lot of the guys who like don't pan out, or you just don't know. Like,
Look at Delonte West, dude. Remember
I
that
was
video
just
we
gonna
saw
say
him?
that.
yeah, but it's just hard. Also, like that's the extreme. I'm just talking about guys who like get too caught up and party too early and shit. Because look, you get rich, and not everyone wants to fuck you, and you finally not in college. You're just in college or high school. Now you're traveling the world, and girl, so it's like it happens to everyone at a certain degree, but like I think that's really what separates the greats. Like, think about what LeBron has done. LeBron has gotten better every fucking year.
We made it through
Like
it.
the real greats dedicate themselves
YNK.
really to it. What are you laughing at?
We made it through
We made it through what?
the Blina Cup.
Yeah. Just got to keep getting better.
We had a lot of temptations along the way, man. We came out on top.
We did.
Feel great.
We did have a lot of temptations along the way. That's
Travel
for sure.
the world.
Yeah.
Hey, look, honestly, a fair question is if we weren't in quarantine, I don't know if we would have won it because those parties would have got out of hand afterward.
Oh yeah, if we had
We
after
would have had
parties.
fucking rage, like, because everyone was watching, They would come over and we'd be fucking raging.
Yeah, it's true. But it's true though. To play devil's
We definitely would have
to
won
play devil's advocate though, I'm sure a lot of these players when they reach like initial success, they start getting perspective and they're like, oh, like obviously sports are important, but now I have money and I just want to like enjoy life instead of like putting this ball through this hoop. You know what I mean? They start like seeing it for what it actually is. Whereas
very
like if you're Tom Brady, it's like, no, I'm just gonna fucking drink 200 ounces of water every day and kiss my kids and throw
Those are the
footballs really
greats.
hard.
I mean, look at Vince Carter. The guy still doesn't want to read.
French kiss my kids on the lips.
Let the boy watch.
I still
Carter
have nightmares about that clip of Brady French kissing his kid.
I haven't thought about it since.
I'll be honest, I haven't fucking given it 1 ounce of my thought.
He hangs on
oh,
just
man.
a little too long. He hangs on to that kiss.
How
just
long
a
was
little-
it? Kiss the mic.
It's like,
Kiss the mic like how it was.
well, no, the context is also important. He's like in a towel. Is he in a towel? Wasn't he in a towel?
I think he was getting a massage.
I think he was in a towel, so he's like kind of naked.
He was actually getting a massage.
He's getting a massage. He's on a massage table getting like
Makes it even better.
massaged probably by a dude, and
Definitely.
his kid's like about to go to bed, and Tom's like, "Wait, what about my kiss?"
Get over here and give me a kiss.
And then the kid walks over. Brady's like practically dong out, and the kid's like
That was the length?
it's like this length.
How old's the kid?
Pretty long.
How old's the kid?
Pretty long. His kid's like 10. Like
All right,
10.
Ten's a little.
There's
if he was
no
like
need. There's
4,
no need for a hold of the kiss whatsoever.
It's gotta be a peck.
Parent, kid.
It's gotta be.
There's no need for a kiss on the mouth hold. You know what I mean? The notion is like a kiss. You know, like
Yeah.
yeah, it's a little weird. I've heard Tom Brady's the fucking man.
Of course he is.
Like actually though, like obviously he's the man in life and shit and rock star killing it. But like, just like supposedly he's like actually the fucking man. Like he's actually leans more on like the dude, like, why are you so nice type? Because he's Tom Brady and like people, he's like very fucking cool and like down to earth still. Like I was talking to a few guys off the screen about it. Like he's actually, it's insane how nice and like sweet he is, and he's like a nice guy. Just goes above and beyond to like be a good friend to people and shit. It's pretty crazy.
He's got a Victoria's Secret model wife, one of the best ever. You know, best quarterback, won 6 ships.
I'm about to not have any ego come through that is pretty fucking out. That might be even more impressive to me.
You know why?
It
Maybe
is.
because he lives in Montana. He's just catching crazy vibes out there. Not meditation. He's definitely spiritual. He's got to be.
Yeah, I'm interested in that. I haven't listened to it all, but he had the interview with Howard Stern.
I listened to a great deal of it.
You got it, man.
It's awesome.
It's probably pretty awesome, huh?
Yeah, but also Howard Stern's such a good interviewer, and
Yeah.
he muckerized it a lot, which is amazing because it's Tom Brady, and
Howard's
got
got to
it,
be
man.
Howard.
Howard's talking about like showering with the team and like what do you do?
I heard that.
What do you do if you have a tiny dick in the locker room? Do people make fun of you?
What was his answer?
Tom's like the very generic like sports like athlete answer. He's like, well, you know, like all the guys just realize they all have the same thing going on down there, so like no one really talks much about it. He's like, people are probably gonna make fun of you if you have a bigger one versus a smaller one. That whole interview is really good though.
Tom's a great guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Perfect name for him, Tom.
I'm about to be a Buccaneers fan.
Tom's a great name.
I think I'm about to be a Buccaneers fan.
Yeah.
This Gronk thing goes through, which I think it's going to.
It is.
Yeah.
I think I might be too. Fuck the Patriots.
Shit. No, not fuck the Patriots, but like you take Tom Brady and Gronk off the Patriots and onto another team, like I'm gonna be a fan of that team. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably the least like fan. I mean,
I might be.
too,
I might be.
but
I might be least.
This is raising questions on
I
like
just don't give a shit.
what the coaching staff is like now. The fact that Gronk is going to come back to play with another team. The fact that like Brady's on that team, he's going to come back and play on another team.
Right.
Because Gronk could have kept playing with Brady. He chose to retire. But now,
people fucking hate playing for Belichick.
yeah,
They really do. Like I could just tell. No one's even said that to me, but I know these guys. Like I talk to them. I could have decent reads on them. Like I could tell.
it's a very controlled enviment.
They feel like they're in college still and like worried about the coach like suspending them. Like you know what I mean? It's like a very, but he's greatness. So like everyone, the level of respect is just so high.
Yep.
I wonder how Johnny's visit with the Patriots went.
Yeah, we should ask him.
Let's get him on the line.
Should I?
Manziel just he just
hilarious.
visited. Manziel visited with the Patriots.
No. Well, wow.
No, he did.
Oh, a while ago, you
He
mean.
did what? Right in the peak of like the comeback.
I remember
season
that.
shit.
I do remember that. Yeah.
I was so excited for him.
But Belichick takes risks all the time.
Yeah, he was
Like,
interested in
that's-
Antonio Brown. I think Belichick gives a shit about one thing and one thing only.
Winning.
Winning.
And what's his face from the Browns? They
Beckham.
what?
Odell Beckham.
No.
No,
on the
your
Patriots.
boy.
Gordon.
Gordon.
Oh, Josh, yeah.
Yeah, they took a chance on him. It didn't really pan out, but I mean, he played well for the majority of the season.
Josh, my guy, man.
Yeah. Tremendous athlete.
He reached out and said he wants to be on the podcast. I think
That would be incredible. Incredible.
So many people want to know more about him. You know? Like,
I want to know more about him.
It's very tricky. I do too. I mean, we've become good buddies, but like, there's still so much.
Is he done with football, or is he on another team?
No, he's on another team. What team is he?
Seattle, but I want to say he might have got let go. I'm not sure, to be honest. He's a freak athlete.
Yeah, incredible.
Freak athlete. And you know what's pretty wild is like, this is a really interesting point, bro, because I know you saw just kind of recently, kind of got buried in the coronavirus shit, but the NFL is no longer testing for marijuana. This guy's his career was completely derailed
Because of marijuana.
That's
such bullshit, dude.
Bro, he led the league in fucking receptions as a rookie.
Yeah.
Do you know who he reminds me of? John Bones Jones. Like,
a little bit.
He's
just way bigger and way more athletic, as much as that sounds crazy.
No, I'm just saying about their, like, they both probably part of their dicks off. They're both, like, freaks.
Yeah,
you know
Josh,
what I mean?
like, I can't even speak on Josh partying that much, but like, I
don't
know
know.
he could party, but like, I don't know how bad, you know, I'd love to know more, you know, if he was interested in sharing it, which I didn't hit him up. Out of respect, I didn't hit him up because I wanted to. Figured he'd talk about it when you want to talk about all this shit. But
He needs to tell all.
he wants
Big
to.
time.
Yeah, that should be our episode, man.
Big time.
Just fucking chop it up.
The weed thing reminds me, I just started rewatching Blue Mountain State. Fucking tremendous show.
Yeah, I never really was a Blue Mountain State guy. I should probably
You
got to
dive in. It's aged so well. I like it better now as me now than I did 7 or 8 years ago when it came out. Oh my God, it's so good.
I need some light. I've found a little value in like watching some light stuff here and there.
So I mean, we had the very own Thad Castle kick off the Bellina Cup. So
I love that guy because like
hands down one of the greatest characters on TV. Yeah, so good, right up our alley.
The fact that he went that hard for that was awesome.
They had the episode in the season 1 that I just watched was when they have a random drug test, which obviously they're warned about, and it's for like drugs, steroids, whatever. So they realize like everyone on the team has like obviously been partying and doing drugs and taking steroids, and they joke about like taking testosterone and rabies and like funny shit. So they're like, how are we going to pass this drug test? Thad Castle's like, well, we're going to do this thing called an oil change where you insert, it's essentially like siphoning oil out of a car. You take this little tube and throw it up your piss hole, and it like siphons all the piss out of your bladder, and then you inject clean pee into your bladder through the through the tube, and it's called an oil change. And
it's revolutionary.
And everyone's like, no, I'm not doing it. It looks fucking painful as shit. They end up doing it. But they want to use fake dicks at one point. Because I guess they have to.
Fake dicks is a thing for sure.
They want to look like they have to look at your dick when you're doing it.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
Look, I did it all the time, man.
You had to do it?
Oh yeah, dude.
Like they had to look at your wiener while you pissed? I couldn't do it. I can't.
Just let it fly right in front of
If I had to do it looking at my dick, I couldn't pee. I could not pee into a cup.
Look him square in the eye while I'm doing it. I'll just stare at him like.
I get pee shy for sure.
If I'm stuck in a public restroom at urinals with no divider, I'm fucked.
I'm letting it fly.
I gotta be at a bar fucking 8 beers deep to fucking let that flow.
Yeah.
I get
Oh
pee
my
shy
God.
for sure.
I mean, it's not the same as a bar. You know what I mean? It's just a guy who's been looking at dicks all day. Like, it's not a big deal.
I know. It's just it's a weird setting. It's probably dead silent. You could probably hear a pin drop in the locker room.
I
And
wonder
got
if
a
you
guy-
told that guy when he was graduating from college, like,
You'd be looking at dicks for a living.
How much
hey
does
man,
he get paid?
you're gonna be staring at dicks for the majority
College
of your adult
dicks.
life.
How much does he get paid? I don't know how much money you would have to give me to do that job.
All right, I can already see this going down a very bad rabbit hole. So we can go
gotta get a lot.
We can go into our pee break, where
I
we
need
won't,
I need a pee break.
where we won't be
Bad.
tested for illegal drugs. Thank God bless America.
We'll be right back with You Never Know, You Know What I Mean, right after this urination break.
Mike, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've been wearing the same pair of shorts for the past week.
I haven't noticed, John.
That's because I got these brand new pair of Birddogs from Birddogs headquarters. They're not just shorts, but they got built-in undies right underneath them.
How do they feel?
You know, it feels like I've been wearing nothing for the past week, and with the exception of a few skid marks, I think I could wear them forever.
I love that. I was gonna say your bird dog, those bird dog undies matched my bird dog nunchucks.
Tell us about the nunchucks, Mike.
Using the code YNK with your purchase of anything from Birddogs, you get your own complimentary set of nunchucks. And in times like this, I mean, I feel like every home could benefit from their own individual set of nunchucks.
That's true. So go to Birddogs now, get your free pair of shorts. They're
And
not
your
free-
nunchucks.
They're not free pair of shorts, sorry, they're free nunchucks. And yeah, let those balls hang low, baby.
Let them hang.
So we all know how ExpressVPN protects your privacy and security online, right? But here's something you might not know. You can also use ExpressVPN to unlock movies and shows that are only available in other countries.
Yeah, now in trying times like this, so many of us stuck at home, it's only a matter of time before you run out of content you enjoy. Sometimes you go back, dabble in things you previously enjoyed. Here's a little unlock to some new content.
And it's so simple to do. I just fire up the ExpressVPN app, I change my location, let's say to the UK, I refresh Netflix, and that's it.
And it's not just Netflix. ExpressVPN works with any streaming service, Hulu, BBC, iPlayer, YouTube, you name it.
So if you want to visit our special link right now at expressvpn.com/YNK, you can get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN for free ski. Support the show, watch what you want, and protect yourself with ExpressVPN at expressvpn.com/YNK.
And always remember, you never know.
Ever. Do you think it's difficult to, when you say like picking the weeds and like fixing yourself or working on yourself and like, you know, being above yourself and judging oneself, do you think it's difficult or even possible to judge yourself from your own perspective versus someone else, like
Totally.
versus someone else like analyzing
What's your
you?
question? You saying it's possible?
No, I'm saying like, is it possible?
Yeah.
Because like I always found it difficult, and I always thought not impossible, but hard for one person to judge themselves and to like make sense of themselves. I think that's why therapy exists, and that's why like seeing psychologists
all
exists.
this is for,
because
man.
like they literally go to school and they base their whole living on analyzing.
Because what
people.
else? Think about it. If you're not doing that, then what else? What is your judgment of yourself? What's your only notion? What's your only data?
Mm-hmm.
What other people think?
Yeah.
What's my reputation? What do people think of me?
Well,
you know what I mean?
There's
No,
other
but
people,
seriously-
there's the public, and then there's like a trained professional who can actually give you like a scientific.
Yeah, therapy.
Yeah.
I haven't done it yet, but I know I will. Just
Yeah.
even if things are great, I will. A lot of people have said it's amazing. I'm saying your family, your friends, the people you care about, also the general public, but I'm talking more the people you care about, the people around you in your neighborhood. What do they think of you? You know, like if you're not realizing that you are supposed to be, your self-awareness is supposed to be there. Mm-hmm. Your self-awareness is the goal of your self-awareness is to be able to look at yourself fairly and say, assess. Mm-hmm. Don't fucking blow smoke up your own ass, but don't punish yourself either. A lot of people suffer mainly because they do it to themselves, man. Like, oh, I fucking did that. I'm an idiot. Blah, I'm gonna go fucking drink because I feel like, you know, like I'll forget, you know. But really, like, the self-awareness shit, like the fact that you just said that makes me know you should meditate, even though you are very happy and friendly and nice guy all the time.
I'm actually good at it. I'm saying I'm good at like rising above and looking down and assessing myself.
Oh, there you go.
Very non-biasedly. I just know most people aren't good at it.
Yeah. So to answer your question, you know it is possible.
Yeah.
Because it is, and that's what I've worked at to be. Mm-hmm. I don't think I can't say that I was naturally like that, bro. I was very much. I am my thoughts.
Yeah.
I had this ego. I was my ego.
Yeah.
For a lot of my life.
Wayne Dyer says, like what you were saying earlier, you are, this is real deep, you are what you think other people think of you. So what other people, because they don't think, bro, you're walking and you think everyone's judging you. No, it's what you think they think about you.
I know what you're saying.
I know exactly what you're trying
You know
to
what I'm
say.
saying?
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Totally. It's a reflection.
That's how Kanye got so great. Because he thought everyone fucking fucked with him super heavy. He even fucked with himself super heavy.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then look what happened.
I mean, dude, there's a huge thing with people who have like radical success. Say like, dude, what's the word? There's a phrase, but delusional.
Yeah.
Delusionally.
That's what Charlie Rocket talked about.
Yeah, delusionally confident.
Yeah.
Like Russ is another guy. Like you see him talking about. He's like, dude, I would tell everyone I was the best. Look, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that ever, even if I truly feel that.
But if you're doing it for your own personal growth.
Because, dude, there's a difference. Here's why I disagree with Russ. And I agree with a lot of things he says. Mm-hmm. It doesn't need to be outward, man. It doesn't need to be outward.
Yeah.
You know. That's what matters. Like, and he's on that same wave, but it doesn't have to be outward. You don't have to tell everyone that you're the best rapper. No. Because if you truly, truly feel it and feel it in your heart and think that, mm-hmm. like the gravitational force that he's talking about, that is the law of attraction, which he says he manifested, which I believe he did. you know that the gravitational force is with your feeling and your thought. It's not about telling everyone, you know, that you're the greatest, because really, like, you know, like that the greatest doesn't even exist.
The greatest doesn't think they're the greatest.
It's an illusion, though. The greatest, like, yeah, there's stats but like in music, how could you know what I mean? Like, everyone has their version of, you know, like his favorite artist is different than his favorite artist, but like you're just your best you. You know what I mean? That's why I don't even like the greatest rapper thing. Like, why?
Yeah, there's not.
I think that
Record sales is not the answer.
No.
Some people can't sit through 5 seconds of an Eminem song.
Yeah.
I don't know any black people that ever listen to Eminem. I don't. There's probably millions, but I've never met anybody cool that ever listened to Eminem, really.
Yep.
I listened to him back in the day. You know, I was definitely a fan. I wasn't like his target audience. I wasn't like, you know, I was a pretty like regular athlete kid, you know?
Yeah.
But dude, my point is that guy's well, Drake is now, but Drake and Eminem are the highest selling. But you can't make that argument that they were the best. Like, everyone has their own. Some people can't even listen to those
Rap
guys.
is such a tricky genre of music to say who's the greatest.
Yeah.
It's so changed
Whereas like
so much.
other genres in music,
Yeah.
it's such an easier debate.
Rappers used to be poets, bro.
Yeah.
Well, that's when you
There
could
was
judge
a
it
poetry
better.
thing, and then you could judge it better. You could say, "Wow, his
Now you
cadences,
can't.
he's so sharp."
There's
Right?
there's so many more elements and
Now
subgenres
it's
of
all
rap
about
now.
the vibe.
Yeah.
What's your wave? Do people like watching you talk, hearing you talk, watching you like mob around your videos, and like there's a whole thing where it's more of like an overall appeal versus like the art of rap, which I personally don't even like rap like that. I used to.
Yep.
When people are rapping, bro, it's like exhausting. That's why I don't. People want me to rap like a lot. Like, I'm still rapping on a lot of the songs, but none of it's like the over syllable raps that I used
But
to
that
do.
used to be like
you know?
Logic would be like up there top 5. If this was back in the day, it was all like who raps the fastest. Like
Yeah, if Logic was in the '90s, he'd be like a great.
that's why I fuck with
Yeah.
that's
He
why I
would.
fucked with Nelly, because he had a vibe back then.
Yeah.
Like all those. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not getting.
It's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I want to get into our caller. His name's Cale Thomas. He's a stock car racer. Has a really fucking cool story. I briefed you a little bit about it. He is the classic "you never know" story. And let's just call him in now, and let's just dive right into it.
Hey,
Hey, Cale.
what's going on?
John Kilmer, you on the air?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
It's going well, man. I'm glad we finally got to get you on the podcast. I know it's been months of trying to plan this.
It's been a long time coming, hasn't it?
It's not because we don't care. It's just, you know us. Things are always popping up.
We're not a logistics
Yeah.
company.
We are not a logistics company. I wanted to pass the phone over to the Studmeister, FKA Studmeister, now just Mike.
I'm still a stud myself.
It's Mike now.
And I want, I know we talked earlier, but I kind of want you to share your story with him and with our audience, because I just think it's a tremendous story.
Yeah. So
Pass it over.
basically,
Wait, hold on. I'm going to pass the phone over to Mike real quick.
oh, okay.
Just make sure you do it backwards.
Yep.
And just throw it right up against the fucking, jam it in there.
Cale, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, Mike?
What's going on, my guy? How are you?
I'm doing well. During these tough times, I can't complain.
Yeah, where are you?
I just moved to Pennsylvania in January, so
Whereabouts?
about Central PA, so around York and
Okay.
about 2 hours away from Philly.
Yeah, we've been all over that fucking state, all over. Played so many like random cities and colleges in there. That's why I asked. But yeah, man, Kilmer told me a little bit about your story, but fits right up our alley here for the YNK podcast. Obviously, I think it's an exceptional example of you never know being something of like kind of always. We've been talking about looking at the bright side a lot, just organically in this episode. So it's only fitting that we hear your story. So just walk us through what went on.
Right. So I'm just gonna give a little background for you and like
Cool.
everybody and stuff. So I've been a race fan and a race car driver since I was a little kid. So since I was 5 years old, I've been going around in circles and stuff. Basically was really good at a young age and progressed, gained sponsors, and just went to different types of racing in different forms. When I was 16, I moved up to sprint cars, full-size sprint cars, and I actually saw you had a sprint car shirt on your other podcast.
Yep.
I was actually really interested in how you got into that.
Yeah, yeah. I actually my boy out here, he's from. I want to say he's from. It's definitely in the Midwest. I want to say Indiana. But he put me on to the. He had this like. It's actually his clothing line, but a lot of them are stock car like shirts and mascots and things. It's cool though. Dope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had a Knoxville National shirt, so that's like
Yeah.
that's the crown jewel of sprint car racing.
A lot of people were hitting me up about it.
Race fans sure love when they see people like you.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. We gotta come out when we're on tour. We gotta come out and watch a race at some point, or at least take us to one or whatever.
Dude, yeah, that's honestly when I saw that shirt, a lot of people knew I liked you and stuff, and followed you guys. So
Yeah.
they hit me up. They're like, dude, would Mike come to a sprint car show or something like that?
Hell
and I
yeah.
was like, dude, honestly, it's such a good time, and like the racing's badass, and then partying after is just as fun. So
I'm already on board just from that description. I'm ready.
dude. And then I was also thinking like Chug Bud at the racetrack, dude. People would freak.
Boom.
It'd be crazy.
Boom. Let's do it for sure. We'll talk after, but we'll stay in touch, and because that's honestly the type of activations that we have planned for Chug Bud. Obviously, they're a little stalled with quarantine, but a lot of the activations with crowds like that are organically going to be fans of it. Like we know, like the tailgate culture, race cars, all that shit. So it's going to be that's like right up our alley of what shit we're trying to do, those types of engagements.
For sure.
We love it.
But sprint cars aside, so basically it's sprint car racing has been my whole life. I mean, that's why I moved out to Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
I got hired by a team out here. But about when I was 18, 19 years old, so a couple years in sprint cars, it was the summer of 2016. I went to a place in Chillicothe, Ohio, Atomic Speedway, and so it was just a normal night, and in one of the races, I got up on the flat. There's no walls in 1 and 2. It's dirt racing, so it was sandy up there. The track wasn't worked up. Up there, wet or anything like that. And, they had concrete barriers on the outskirts of the track and completely took those out. And it blocked you from going down this huge hill and just went all the way down it. And just, when people got to me, I wasn't conscious or anything like that. And wasn't responsive. And at that point, they were scared of, a severe concussion and, anything else because I wasn't, all there. So, I got life flighted from a helicopter to Ohio Health, Ohio Major Hospital, and they gave did all the scans on my head and my body and stuff like that, and I honestly it took about 12 maybe to 18 hours before I stopped repeating myself and just I was out of it. Like I probably asked my dad about 10 times, like, what happened? Like, where am I? And stuff like that.
Right.
So, it's pretty crazy to look back at stuff like that. And, you're just you're out of it. But, that's the life of a race car driver. But, they did the scans and I was in the hospital for a couple days. And, I went home and about, 2 weeks later, I was just, getting back going again. And my mom, called me into the living room and she started reading this letter off from the hospital and, talked about my stay at the hospital and what they did to me. And then they talked about on blah, blah, blah scan, they found a mass on my right kidney. They believed it was renal cell carcinoma, and which it ended up being renal cell carcinoma, a type of kidney cancer.
Wow.
And so at that point, my mom's in tears and I'm just, 18-year-old kid, it's rare to get cancer at that, kind of age. I mean,
crazy.
I haven't done anything crazy to, put myself into that situation.
Yeah.
And, immediately I wanted to know how I can get better and what we got to do. And so, seen it, one of the best specialists in the United States for this type of cancer. And Dr. Sprunger, he set up a surgery for me in October. Luckily, we only had to do surgery because I didn't have any symptoms, so it didn't spread anywhere else.
Right.
So usually when you do get symptoms, it spreads to different parts of your body, and then usually it's too late.
Wow.
And so I was, lucky to be a race car driver at that point.
Crazy.
And so had the surgery, and I'm already a pretty small built guy. Most race car drivers are.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually lost 20 pounds. I felt like shit. And, a couple months went by, and about January, after that winter, is when I started feeling better again. And at that point, I wanted to, start going to the gym again and getting, back to normal.
Right.
And even better than that, I had motivation to get back in the race car because, my last race was a big wreck. And, at that point, I want to be better than what I was then. And not, come out the gate weak. I want to come out the gate strong. And I also felt like it was a blessing, from Lord up above that I had that accident because, this cancer is a slow-growing tumor. There's 3 different types. I had the 1% of renal cell carcinomas, and then also this cancer is found in 60-year-olds. So I'm the 1% of the 1% who ends up driving a sprint car for a living. So
crazy.
It's crazy how it came full circle.
Yeah, that's wild, man.
Something like that.
Do you did you have these thoughts kind of right away? Like, did it take a while? Did you have to be removed from it a bit to look back and be like, wow, how incredibly lucky, but also just like that level of man, that there is no such thing as a coincidence, I don't feel, and it's just like it's such an eye-opening experience for it to go down like that. Were you kind of thinking that as right out of the gate, or did it take a little time?
It honestly took a while because I think, after my surgery, that's when I kind of was getting sick. So, and then you also got winter, so you got nothing to do. I had no racing to go to. So, that November, that December, I'm just kind of like, days are flying by and I just feel numb almost. And it's like when, the weather started getting better, and then I just finally hit a point in my life where, I think you just finally get, I think I had a concussion for a long time too. Yeah. So my head wasn't on right, and just a lot of different things, that surgery being one of the toughest surgeries on your body as well. And I think, going to the gym was kind of started that spark, and then going to church on Sundays. And then honestly, the thing that actually changed even more so my mindset was I decided to go to the gym on a Saturday, because usually I would go, Monday through Friday. Well, just out of the blue, I decided to go on a Saturday. I go to LA Fitness, and my pastor ended up being in the locker room there. So I said, "Hey, Gary," and he's like, "Oh, hey." He's like, "You go to the creek or something?" I was like, "Yeah, I go to your church." He's like, "Okay." He's like, "You an athlete or something?" I'm like, "Yeah, I drive race cars." He's like, "Okay, that's cool." He's like, "So have you ever had any bad wrecks?" And I was like, "I got a story for you, dude." And I told him about what happened and how it kind of changed my life, and how I kind of, I've always believed in God and stuff, but, it's just, that's my testimony now.
Right.
And so he's like, "Well, I have a group that meets on Thursdays for young adults. I think you should start going and tell your story and stuff." So I started going and, meeting people, and, I raced, that whole year, and, one of my best seasons in a car. And even, after that whole summer, the group talked about a organization that works close with the church called Rafa International. And what they do is they help girls who have been through sex trafficking and put them in better situations. So I went for that spring. So 1 year later, after meeting my pastor at the gym, because of having a wreck and finding out I had cancer, I went halfway across the world to see those girls and see what the organization does for their lives. And it was such one of the most impactful things in my life. And then when I came back, that was the one thing they wanted us to do was you need to, tell everybody what you saw and what you witnessed, and then spread the word. And I thought, well, racing is the perfect perfect example of, being able to, spread it. And so a month later, I won the biggest sprint car race in my life. I won an all-star Circuit of Champions race. So Tony Stewart owns that series, and I won, and, I gave the whole spiel, sponsors, and, how the race went. And then at the end, I got to talk about Rafa International, and, it was at that point is when everyone started hearing my story. And then I still get messages today because people hear my story on different podcasts and videos. And,
I'm sure you'll have a ton after this. It's really incredible. It's just a perfect example of this shit that we try to highlight on the show, because look, everyone has their own path, but it's really incredible when you can be in the moment and start realizing that everything's happening for you, and for you, there's a lot of shit that you could complain about, like, why did I get this rare cancer, or why did I get in a wreck? But, it's weird. We were just talking about this earlier in this episode, but just consciously being able to find the bright side and actually let that bright side of it take you a whole new place, a whole new height. And now you're probably, can you remember, before and after of the wreck, what your mind state before and your mind state now? Are you loving where you are mindset wise comparatively to who you were before the wreck?
I think overall, yeah. But I think everyone, and, I think everyone deals with this. You go through certain times where you doubt yourself, or you go through hard times, or you face new struggles. It might not be as hard as what you once witnessed. Right. But at the same time, I think because of that overall hardship, I think I still always look at the bright side of things. Yeah. Always have that you never know. Right. Keep going mindset. And, even when the times get tough, you just stay in the trenches and keep going.
Look at you, just nailed all the Mike Stud branding in one sentence. Yeah, bro. The trenches, that's where we were just talking about that too. The trenches, it's about, everyone's in the trenches at some point. It's just about, you gotta somehow find a way to enjoy the setting. You know what I mean? Because there can and always will be opportunity and beneath the hard times. So even now, you're gonna go through probably a bunch of other hard shit. Maybe not as hard as that. Maybe who knows? But you're so prepared for it, at least mentally. And where I believe that the mental strength is what heals the body, and there's just a lot of upside. I'm always talking about the mind on this because I believe in that so much, and I feel like your experience now, you're just going to be rock solid going forward, because it's just such an eye-opening overall thing. The connections of your story are just almost weird. It's in a good way, So it's really dope, and I'm glad we got to connect. What's going on now? Right now, obviously you're not racing, but where are you? What's after? Obviously, we don't really know what's next as a society, but feels like we'll be on the other side of it at some point soon. What are you? You're going to be rocking and rolling still with stock car racing, correct?
Yeah, well, actually, open wheel racing, not stock car.
Open wheel. What's the difference?
So sprint cars are just badass. That's basically all it comes down to. You really need to freaking go.
I do, man.
You flip shit.
We've never been.
You think you'd call me insane, bro. You'd call me insane. That's what it is. So sprint cars are open wheel. I race wing sprint cars, so we have the little fins. Yep. Things up top. Yep. But there ain't no dune buggies. They're 900 horsepower, 1,400 pounds, and we race on dirt. So we'll race on from quarter miles to about half miles, and on half miles we can go about 160 to 170 miles an hour. And so
that's so crazy, bro. Yeah.
So on a half mile we can get around there in 13 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a wild boy, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
But yeah, man, it's really dope. We have to when we're on the road again, we will definitely take your word on it. We'll come link up and come to it. Hopefully you're racing, but we can go either way.
Yeah, usually since I definitely got hired now, I'm definitely have a bigger schedule, so
we love that.
We can definitely figure out a bigger showing and stuff.
Maybe
like
we could
that.
do some kind of sponsorship stuff too. You guys do sponsors and shit?
Yeah, hell yeah.
I mean,
for special races. So like if you say you didn't want to like sponsor a whole deal, but like say at Knoxville Nationals you wanted to, 35,000 people, you wanted to do a Chug Bud car or Mike Stud, You Never Know podcast car, just easy. Make a Knoxville car. Do the Nationals.
Yeah, we're definitely doing a Chug Bud car, and there needs to be like a tube coming off the car.
Everyone hanging on the back.
Maybe we'll do a deal. We'll do a deal, and you rip a Chug Bud after you win the fucking race.
Hell yeah, 150,000 to win.
We love that. But yeah, man, thank you for sharing. It was an awesome story, really. And man, keep going. I don't gotta say it. I don't gotta say it.
Going.
All right, buddy. Thanks.
Yep, appreciate it.
Talk soon. Later.
Wow.
What a
I almost
story.
cried at one point.
What a story.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It doesn't kill you, make you stronger.
What can we take away from that story?
It doesn't kill you, makes you stronger, right? If he can go through that, he can go through anything, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just crazy. I don't know.
Crazy.
Kind of makes all my problems through my life pretty insignificant.
Man, there's a huge fucking thing here. It's perspective, man. It's perspective. Like, all you gotta do is hear that fucking story and your perspective's changed.
Yeah.
It's just like all the little shit we care about. It's just like,
Think about how many people have those stories.
Yeah.
There's so many people in the world. It's
Yep.
crazy.
Yep. He got in a car wreck. My Greek week was canceled when I was in college,
Yeah.
my senior year. A lot of tragedy.
the awareness though, that awareness gets you, because now if you could look down on your problems and just be like, my problems are nothing.
Yeah.
I can't. Anytime you feel like shit, you just have that awareness to check into, and it will check your perspective.
Mm-hmm. You got to check yourself before you riggedy wreck yourself.
But that's the part of
Don't
what you
wanna
were
wreck
saying
yourself.
before about self-awareness and like, is there like
Yeah.
that's what you got to do. It's all about you got to put your perspective.
Yeah.
Is self-awareness like the greatest human trait that you can have?
It's very, very high. Very,
Not a lot of
very
people
high.
have it.
Very, very high. It's
Yeah.
very high. Like, that's what feel is.
I've been wanting to talk about this for like 20 episodes, because
Feel?
like you always talk about like having feel.
Yeah.
Since as long as I've known you, like you're like, that guy has no feel, or like he has really good feel. And then like I would think for weeks, like, what does he mean by feel? Like I was like drawing like math equations on my window, like when they were creating
squared.
when they were creating the Facebook algorithm, like the windows of Harvard. Like I was doing that in my bedroom, and I'm like,
Stevenson
I'm
Ranch
like, I think
windows.
feel is like self-awareness divided by like
Humility.
like humility plus optimism plus like I don't know, a bunch of shit.
Yeah, self-awareness is so fucking important.
Self-awareness is like, yeah, it's one of those things that most people just can't figure out.
Yeah, man.
And that's when people don't have any feel, because they have no self. They don't know when they're acting out of pocket.
Yeah.
They don't know when like they're being X, Y, and Z.
There's also like there's like an actually bigger view of this. I know. If we have the awareness and the humility to say, hey, yeah, he has no feel, but like not judging them, because like they don't even know. Like it's one of those things where it's all the aware. It's so hard to teach someone to have self-awareness, and it can only happen through like experience and like teaching through experience. Like I've been able to curve some guys on our team, or at least aid in curving some guys like awareness in some ways. I think we all can and all have, and it's doable, but it's not something you could just be like, yo, dude, your feel sucks. They'll be like, what? You know what I mean? Like, because they don't even know. I think some people do, some people don't. I think some people make the choice to just, but like really, they're not realizing that their like ego is just driving the car, and they're like, you know what I mean? Their ego, like the need to be right, the need to have a say, the need for people to care about my opinion, all that shit. It comes from the ego.
Yeah.
And that's where really a lot of people's feel is off when they're trying to, you know what I mean? It's about knowing your lane, like feeling the room out, knowing your lane in the room, when to talk, when not to, like when to ask something, when to not, just all those things.
It can almost be like turning the music's too loud. Turn it down, because you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and then I get the neighbor's coat. Like,
yeah,
that's
that's
like
a version
very
of it.
small
version of it,
but
but
like
yes.
forgetting to put on. You know what I mean?
It's
Just
really like knowing the impression that you're leaving on everyone around you, which is hard
Yeah,
because you're in your own body. It goes back to that same thing with like, are you able to judge yourself?
yeah, that's part of it for sure.
Being yourself.
Yeah, it really it's self-awareness.
Yeah, self-awareness.
Knowing yourself, like,
and knowing others too, right?
yeah, but I mean, they talk about this thing where it's like what the intuition is, right? Like it's a feeling, it's a natural sensation your body gives off to your mind because they're working in cohesion. It's a natural sensation. So this little gut feeling, you know what I mean? That's your law of decision. You feel it's called conscious decision making. Bring it into everything's a decision. Am I going to wear this? Am I going to wear that? Am I going to say this? If there's things that you're not sure about, you try to dial in to your gut instinct, and it's pretty hard to do, you know. But Deepak talks about it, and it's just like that's your atlas, like your natural gift from your body to say, hey, this is the right way for you, you know. And to answer your question, yes, it's about the other people in the room, but your gut, like, you got to be a little more in tune with your gut and not let every single thought that comes through fucking fly.
For sure.
Because it's, again, you're not your thoughts either, you know, but like there is a natural sensation that your body naturally gives off if you're trying to understand. Like if you have anxiety over a decision, that's where you got to like tune into your gut and like.
So are you pretty much tying together self-awareness and intuition?
Kind of,
little
yeah.
bit?
I'm only saying that your self-awareness grows from being in tune with your intuition, and they are related. They're in the same family, you know, like.
Wow.
Yeah, it makes sense, right?
Kind of crazy that we started this conversation today about porn.
Yeah, we really did. We really did.
Shit got real deep.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, we're stuck in the house, man. You know, we're just trying to talk it out.
What porn are you guys watching? All right, let's talk about life.
Feel could be.
This is the YNK podcast.
Like think of any profession you have to have feel. Like when you're performing on stage, like depending on how big the audience is.
Yeah,
like certain you feel off the room.
Sure.
You feel off the room. You know what I mean?
There's a huge range of feel.
If you're DJing, like your parents, you're gonna play different music you think they would like.
Feel for the situation. Yeah.
Yep.
But there's also way different.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Wow.
It's pretty hard to articulate what feel is, but I think we did.
It's so many different fucking
It's
ways
very
you can
wide.
go.
Any closing thoughts?
No.
Sex.
What do we got?
Any products that you'd like to push?
Yeah. So we're about to do a whole new run of things, but it's not a time you want to be like dropping a bunch of merch and shit. You know what I mean? Like I'm at least a little weary to that.
How do we do money raising wise for the Bellini Cup?
Great. I don't want to give the exact number because it's not finalized. It's not finalized yet. But let's put it this way: we're gonna donate. Look, Los Angeles, like where we live, has a really bad homeless problem.
One of the worst, yeah.
And I watched, I forget who it was. I think it was Russell Brand. He was talking about the homeless, or Jim Carrey or something. I saw it recently, and I was just thinking, I was like, because I was kind of on the fence about what I wanted to do with the money exactly. But I can't imagine how lonely these people feel now, you know, like, and just left out to die, kind of like everyone's so worried about themselves because for good reason, you know, like a lot of regular people just like, well, I need to figure out what the hell I'm going to do to get money. And, you know, so you have your own problems, but they're really out there. Having no family during this time, they clearly don't have a connect with their family because they're on the street. So I was just thinking like it'd be really dope to do this. So we're doing it with the LA Food Bank, and we're gonna be donating 100,000 meals worth. So like that's gonna be over a month. That's gonna be like 2.5 months or something like that we can be supplying all their meals from us playing beer pong. And we're coming with an 18-wheeler of water from pH, which is like the best water on the planet. So like, you know, it's one of those law of giving things that happened organically, but like, I'm so excited. I want to go. Like, I want to just go and fucking be there and help, you know, because it's just something I'm definitely super proud of. And I was just talking about getting into charity, but this is just like an immediate thing. Like, I want to do a foundation, but and I've been talking about getting into charity, and this just happened out of nowhere. So it's been very rewarding. I think this is gonna be super rewarding for us.
Yep. And it's not too late. If you still want to donate, we're still accepting donations on our verified Bravo account, which is at Bellina Cup. And that's the Bravo Tipper Pay app. And by the time you're listening to this, there'll still be a little bit of time for you to donate. So feel free. All the Steve's coming together and donate a little money for the LA Food Bank.
Yeah, it's gonna be dope.
It's going to be dope. There's no shame in watching porn in 4K.
Oh, there's also,
cool.
another thing to say is like, there's a lot of Bellina Cups going on.
Yep.
Even that, like, bro, if you really are trying to get on the wave, which I think a lot of people who listen to this are, you know, I get a lot of messages like, you guys do like a $50 buy-in and then go fucking donate a 300, you know, like go do something with it. It'll just make everyone feel good and be a good mini version of what we did. You know, obviously if you can't, you can't. It's time, you know, it's a fucking hard time financially, but I don't know. Cool notion.
I agree. Anyone can do it.
You can do it.
You can do it. All right. Well, that just about covers it.
All right.
All right.
You ready?
Over and out. You ready? Yeah.
Yeah.